Hey, my name's Sean. Welcome to Echoes in Eternity Bourbon. Have you ever forgot about a bottle of bourbon that you've had? So, I was having some conversations with subscriber Terrence, and he just has some incredible bottles. But we were talking about things, and he asked me, he says, "Do you have the Jack Daniels double barreled?" And I'm thinking, matter of fact, I do. I said, it's something I totally forgot that I had. So, had to go down to the Future Man Cave, the basement, and find this bottle down there. And I told him, I said, I'm gonna have to get you a sample of this. And so I was thinking about it, and I thought, I need to do a video on this. And I thought, I don't know if if any of you really enjoy Tina Turner. I was a big Tina Turner fan. Sad to see of her passing yesterday. You sometimes have different musicians and artists that bring you to certain things. Like, my dad, anytime I hear the Doors or anytime I hear the Eagles, I think about my dad playing them. I listened to it growing up all the time. My mom, when I was younger, I mean, this 70s time frame, Roy Orbison, Linda Ronstadt, to get into the 80s, she really got into Tina Turner. And my mom was one of those people that she would listen to a song again and again and again. And I get some of that too. I'll play a song till it's no longer worthy anymore. If I really like it, I'll play it again and again and again. And I get that from my mom. But I remember Tina Turner was one of her favorites. And if you've ever looked into Tina Turner's life and history, remarkable. Where she came from, what she ended up doing, the different stands she took on things, and ultimately the life she lived. So beautiful human being. Very sorry to see her passing. Definitely, she'll live on in her music, but it always reminds me, of my mother. I'm sure you guys have similar songs that reflect different things in your life that maybe your parents listen to, or your siblings or close friends that always remind you of them. So that reminded me of her. So uh, get that out of the way. I just, I had to kind of say something there, I guess, because it was part of my life growing up. This is the Jack Daniels twice barreled. This is 4 years, aged 4 years in a brand new oak barrel, and then it's moved to a sherry cask for 2 plus years. I think about 2.5 years. This one came in at 106.6 proof. So very looking very forward to getting this, and as you can see, it kind of got that dark motor oil look to it. And one thing, and just researching this, I didn't realize that these, I think it's Oroloso sherry casks. They're not like a 50 plus gallon cask that you get for bourbon. These are 135 gallons. So when they're dumped from the bourbon cask, they're put into this huge 135 plus gallon cask, and then they're aged there for a couple of years after that. So I thought that was very interesting. So I'm interested in seeing how that affected this flavor. And this is also a malt, so this is 100% malt. It does go through the charcoal filtration like a lot of the normal Jack Daniel's stuff. So I thought that was very neat as well. So looking to see how this all finishes out. And on top of that, I had something I wanted to share. I think I'd like to share more some of the interactions that I get with people on the channel that maybe aren't in the comments or things like that, because I think it's very cool. All of you guys are awesome. I absolutely appreciate the interactions I have with you on a day-to-day basis. Some at a personal level, which I appreciate, but this is something that I got in the mail and wanted to say thank you about, and really appreciated it. But let's give this a nose and see what we got here. Right off the bat, you get some of a deep caramel. You get a little bit of oak through there. You get some red fruits. You get some mocha in there. You can see the oils on here, but it's not. It doesn't look super oily to me. It doesn't look super viscous to me. Interested to see what it tastes like on the palate. Sorry about that. Looks like Gabe's getting up, moving around there. this is a little bit different. Um, this is not overly sweet. I get a little bit of a pepper on the tongue. Get a lot of the red fruits and dried fruits on the back. Maybe that's from the cask that it was into. Get kind of a sweet bitterness on the back. Um, I'm not getting as much caramel on the palate as I am on the nose. I mean, when I smell this, I'm thinking this is going to be really, really sweet. But I'm not getting a whole lot of that super sweet caramel on there. I mean, it is a nice flavor, but it's kind of like you're drinking something that has a little more fruit to it than normal than a bourbon. Um, so this is kind of unusual. This is they're definitely strange for me. I was expecting something different out of this. It's got a nice mouthfeel. It doesn't have a super long finish on it though. I'd actually classify this as more of a short finish. Um, I'm sure as I explore this more, and that's the one thing I was talking with somebody the other day is when I taste these, generally it's the first time I've ever tasted them, and I haven't written down notes and I haven't explored a lot. So this is just off the cuff of what I'm getting. And so sometimes as I sit down and explore it more, I'll find different things in there that I like, or I didn't maybe have the first few sips, or as I'm drinking a little more, it opens up to me a little more. And so, and he made a great point. Maybe you should write down the notes afterwards, even after your video, and maybe do a recap if something really stood out on the next video. So I think I'm gonna start doing that. I appreciate you for that, Paul. So I'm gonna start looking into that. I'm not overly impressed with this. And maybe it's just me. Maybe I was had the expectation of something better. I think what I really probably need to do with this is come back to it in a blind, and see what I really thought of it in a blind. Um, Jack Daniel's products for me this year have been phenomenal. They're barrel strength store pick bourbons that I've got a few of. I've had some 10, I've got some 12. I got a sample on the way for that. I had nothing but outstanding stuff, and I'm looking forward to the barrel strength rise. But it's twice barreled. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not in my wheelhouse, and I was kind of expecting a little more on this. So that one didn't. That one kind of shocked me a little bit on that. Gabe's walking his way back through here now, so I was kind of surprised. I didn't like this as much as I thought I would. I was expecting more flavor. I was expecting a longer finish. I was expecting more and something sweeter, at least on the nose. By that, I was expecting something sweeter. I'm gonna let this open up a little more, explore it again, see what I got. I'm gonna try it in a blind, see if I maybe my eyes looking at this being Jack Daniels, I expected a lot better. But those are my thoughts on that. But one other thing I wanted to get to is I got something in the mail the other day, and it's always cool to get something in the mail. And it had this great feel and shape to it, nice bottle to it, and I thought, oh, this is gonna be awesome. I open it up and I get this card, and it says, Sean, I cannot thank you enough for your incredible Blanton score. It has been so hard to get here, and when I find it, it is extortion. I love to try the new bourbons, so I was really enjoyed the toasted samples you sent with Steve. The Nulu was my favorite. Thanks again, and I'll see you on YouTube. Nicole Livingston. So Nicole Livingston is the wife of a friend of mine, Steve Livingston, who lives a few hours from here, and we work in the same industry but for different companies. And he was actually had come down to visit, and I had told him, "Hey, I got some Blatton's at MSRP. I know that your wife likes it. We talked about it. I'm going to get this to you, and you're just going to give me the cost on this." And on top of that, I poured a bunch of samples for her, and a lot of them were different toasted type of bourbons. Nulu toasted was outstanding, and she was dead on with that. So I truly appreciate that, and I think one of the things I'd like to do going forward And some of you have sent some via mule some awesome samples to me. And what I'd like to do is maybe on the weekends, kind of try those samples and let people know, hey, this is something that was sent in, to me from through a mule, and I really truly appreciate it. But here's what the cool bottle that came in the mail with it: barbecue sauce. This is Stripling's General Store Original Barbecue Sauce. Very excited for this. The weekend's about upon us. Have some fun with some barbecue, and now I've got a nice bottle of barbecue sauce to go with it. But that being said, I was a bit disappointed in this. I'll try it in a blind. Maybe it'll open up for me later. Get a couple other people to try it, and maybe it's their thing and not mine. But other than that, you all have an amazing day. Thank you for all you do.